Well, just wanted to start off by thanking you for coming in today. We're grateful that you're willing to share your experience. And feel free to be as open as possible because your testimony can really help others in need. But if you want to start off just by briefly telling us about the accident and what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, before the accident happened, I'm a musician, and life was a little chaotic, but it was moving right along. And then on September 8th of 2023, I was hanging out with my boyfriend and our friends, and we were on his motorcycle, and we had been drinking that night, and we got back on the bike, and he lost control on the highway. And so we crashed at going 80 miles an hour. And what's so interesting about that night, I've thought a lot about it. I didn't usually wear a helmet on a motorcycle. I was kind of too cool for school to do that. But for some reason that night, I had him stop at my car to grab my helmet.
Mm.
And I'm so glad that I did because it saved my life. And so we both were in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a month, and it has been quite a journey since then, recovering.
Yeah, I mean, how did it impact you physically, emotionally, financially?
Yeah, I lost everything. My world was turned upside down overnight. Financially, I was now in a huge mess. Physically, I suffered multiple injuries, but the most serious injury was my traumatic brain injury. And that was, I could have, everything that I lost, none of it really mattered. The fact that I had now lost my mind, it was the biggest thing. And yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. And what led you to seek legal representation?
So when the accident happened, because of my traumatic brain injury, I wasn't able to advocate for myself. I was communicating as a 10-year-old, really. And so my family stepped in, and my dad started looking around for a firm to represent me. And I can remember, there's a lot I can't remember in the month of September being in the hospital, but I do have a tiny little memory of the gentleman from Parker McConkie walking into my hospital room. And here I was just laying there, so broken. And I can remember my dad saying, okay, there's a gentleman that he's going to come see you, and you're just going to kind of interview him and see if you feel comfortable and safe. Well, there wasn't a lot of interviewing that happened between him and I. But what I do know is that I felt safe.
Yeah.
And I felt seen and I felt heard. And that is one thing that I have learned over the past 18 months being involved with Parker and McConkie. It's all about trust. They told me, you can trust us. And that's great, but they actually showed me that I could do that.
Yeah.
They allowed me the space to focus on my healing, to focus on all of the things that come with having a brain injury. And I could place everything else in their hands. And there was never any pressure. There was never any chaos in my experience with Parker and McConkie. It was all just so smooth. They really, they allowed me to focus on my healing, and they took care of the rest. And it made the biggest difference for me in my journey.
Yeah, and as for communication, did you feel well informed and supported through the whole process?
Absolutely. What was so amazing is that because of my brain injury, I couldn't communicate coherently and clearly. And so they had a lot of communication with my dad. He took on that role for the time. And then all of it, he would try to explain it in a way that I could understand it. Because I had a really hard time understanding big words, big legal terminology, all that stuff. But it seems like Parker and McConkie knew how to dial it down, how to talk to me in a way that I could respond and hear them. They really personalized this for me. It wasn't like they were just dealing with me. Oh, this is another client, another story. No, they were like, okay, here's Emma. How can we help her in the best way possible?
That's good. You felt prioritized with your case and your.
Absolutely.
That's
Very much prior to brain injury. There you go. Prioritized.
Would you say you were satisfied with the outcome of your case as well?
Very satisfied.
And can you describe how the settlement you received helped improve your situation, maybe post-accident?
Yeah, the settlement that I received has placed me in a position to not have to worry about how everything is going to play out financially for the foreseeable future. It
Yeah.
has provided me a lot of safety and just peace and assurity.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who is in a similar situation that maybe is hesitant with Parker and McConkie?
I would say be open-minded. Be open to the possibility that maybe you can trust someone. Be open to seeing them. Gosh, they just the word that keeps coming to mind is just trust. I found that in Parker and McConkie. And, you know, in my situation, I had to take a really big leap of like, okay, I don't know any of these people. I don't know how this is going to work out, unfold. I had to take that leap. And yeah, if you're in that situation, sometimes that's what you have to do.
Is there anything you'd add to anybody else in this situation with our firm and maybe why you would recommend it?
I would recommend it because I felt so seen. I worked with Steven and he was so comforting in his communication with me. I can remember the first time I came into the building after I was discharged from the hospital to meet with him face to face, and we sat in a room and I was able to just cry about how my life had fallen apart, and he reassured me that he was here every step of the way to help me and that I was going to get back to a good place. I was going to get my life back. Obviously, it's a new me now with this brain injury, but he did. He held up his end of the bargain, and I'm so grateful to be sitting here today.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and placing your trust in us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.